The record I have achieved is still now is the International Book of Record in the title of the longest distance covered on scooty solo.
Hi guys, welcome to our second podcast. Today we'll be in conversation with Mr. Arvind Sarin and Mr. Bonny. Arvind Sarin is an Indian American. He is also the CEO and chairman of Copper Mobile. He has collectively generated a revenue of about $43 million. And what's even more enthralling about him is that he is also a content creator. Bonny is a WordPress developer and a graphic designer. What's interesting about him is that he is also a world record holder for traveling about 6,000 kilometers on his scooty in just 11 days from Delhi to Northeast India. And it doesn't end there. Shortly after which, he traveled again on an expedition from Delhi to Ladakh. So let's see what these two have in store for us today.
Welcome to our second podcast here, where we're going to be speaking to Bonny, who is really amazing as well. And he's hopefully got some inspiring stories for all of us, all of the amazing people who want to learn and get inspired from his journey. So let's go ahead and talk to Bonny in this second episode of the podcast. Bonny, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me a chance to this episode. Thank you once again.
No, of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you for taking this initiative. I think something like this, having a conversation and being vulnerable and sharing your story really helps a lot of the people who are aspiring to be like you, to be a WordPress developer, to work at a startup, at a multinational company, to get that exposure, speak to the clients. So I think you're doing amazing for the community, and thank you for being so open and vulnerable. Appreciate that. Awesome. So I guess let's get started. I'd love to get your introduction for our audience. So what do you do here at Copper Mobile?
Yeah, I'm working as a WordPress developer here in Copper Mobile.
How long have you been working here at Copper Mobile?
I'm working around 1.5 years, almost 2.
When did you first think about being a developer?
Yeah, I used to be a graphic designer. But I've done the course of the multimedia course, which include all the items: video editing, sound editing, graphic designing, animation, and even the development part also. So in that time, I chose the graphic designer as a profession. Later, discovering the coding and the HTML part, CSS. So I transformed myself towards the development. After the working on the graphic design after 6 years, I later transformed myself to the development part, and now I'm become a WordPress developer.
Wonderful. So you have 6 years of experience in graphic design, and then you have around
5-6 years in the website.
5 or 6 years in website development. Wow. So you have total 12 years experience. So because these experiences were not together, when you were a graphic designer, you were only a graphic designer, and
now it's
only a developer. That's amazing. So initially, when you were growing up, you always wanted to be a graphic designer?
Yeah, I was in initial stage. I used to want to be a graphic designer, and still I love to do photo editing, also Photoshop and all. I also play. I like to play with Photoshop and also I love it.
Wonderful. When did you initially think about being a graphic designer? Like, were you really good at sketching or drawing in your school? When did you know that, yes, this is something that you want to do, you want to pursue as a career, you want to get trained in this? When did you think about that?
Actually, this from my school time. I want to play with a computer. From the 6th standard, I used to get a computer in the school. So in that time, I was like to play with the computers all the time. So I got a chance after my clearing the 10. So my parents offered me, my father offered me, what you like to achieve.
Wow,
So the father was thinking of he was asking a motorcycle and all to expose his all that. But I didn't. I just wanted a computer to discover myself, to explore myself. From that stage, I started working on the system, Photoshop and all. I used to learn from my brothers, cousin brothers, how it works, how to do that. Then later, I started from that. From the 10th standard, I started working on the Photoshop and all.
That's amazing. You know, I'm seeing a common theme here that everybody seems to get inspired from their cousins.
Yeah.
You did on the last podcast as well. So that's great. So this is something that everybody could learn. Always, be watching out for your good cousins. So you were inspired by your cousin.
Yeah.
You went ahead and what did you do in graphic design? So you from high school.
Actually, that was a tough for me after the 12th standard. I had to drop out my college after 12 because due to the financial issue of my house. So later that I found to be a chance to I got an MSN on the Kolkata, which was sponsored by DONA. DONA is department of the Ministry of the Northeast region, which offer free education to the lower people who's income group. So I go an exam online. So I choose on that. I got an opportunity to go into Kolkata to learn this diploma course on this multimedia. Later that I got a job in Delhi. Later that's my career start growing.
Wow. How long were you in that diploma?
Diploma 1 year. That's the 1 year is in diploma.
So this is amazing. So you got some encouragement from the government to go study for at no cost to you, because you were able to prove the hardship and submit some sort of a form, and then you got that opportunity and you actually really capitalized on that. Then 1 year you did the graphic design course and you directly got a job, not in Calcutta but in Delhi.
At that time, I had a friend in Delhi, so I share my story and all that I love to work in here. But in Kolkata, I left Kolkata due to the India, the value of the income or something, the amount is too low. I shared with my friend, oh, why don't you come to Delhi? So, and okay, I will be there. I was completing the course and all, so I left Kolkata and directly come to the Delhi and I started my working to the one of the small startup company. Then I came on up and up, and now I reached the corporate mobile.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. So you joined a smaller startup initially, and then how long did you work there?
I worked there around 5, 6 years in that company.
Wow. So that's awesome. I think a lot of that loyalty that you brought in that initial organization that gave you a chance. Tell me a little bit more about that experience. What did you learn?
I started there as an internship and I worked as an intern. Later that I used to manage about a 15 team. I was team leader at the company.
Wow.
Later in the 6 years experience, I got to manage a 15 team in the graphic designing.
And then after that, you switched to development and coding. And how did you get that interest? When did you realize that now design was enough, but you wanted to get your hands in coding? And in fact, a lot of people in our audience may be already finding themselves in a very specific job, but they're wondering, hey, I'm a graphics designer. Can I be a developer? Or vice versa. I'm a developer. Can I be a graphics designer? How did you make that switch?
After that, the company was shut down. Later 6 years, the company has gone into the rough direction, so they had to close.
What year was that?
7 years ago. I used to wait for around 1 year to get a next job. So I was looking for a break, so I didn't force to myself to look for another job. At the time, I used starting development at home by using the YouTube, Googles, and all. Actually, earlier stage, I used to work on HTML, CSS. I love that also. So I built my interest on development part. So at the home, I used to discover all using Google, YouTube, and all. So I started development. And later, 1 year, I got an opportunity to work on the WordPress. So I thought, why don't I try? So I got here and I pushed myself harder.
So this was a freelance project?
No. I work on the company. So they're also looking for a WordPress developer specifically.
Got it.
So at the time I have little of knowledge and I building my interest on that. So I will do it.
Got it. So you said, I have interest and I have some knowledge about WordPress. I want to say yes to this job, and you went forward. How long did you work there?
I work around 1 year over the company, and I work in that company. I work for the international cricketer of the West Indies, which is Carlos Brathwaite. I developed his personal website, or it's still live on the Google and the website. So I personally, alone developed that website for him. So I got much from that company to scale up my WordPress development and development part from that company.
Wonderful. So 1 year down the road, then what did you decide and what made you move on and where did you go?
Yeah, from that at the time there was also changes in the company about it was about to be locked down and all. That was about to lock down. Rumor was there, so the company was going to be shift to some 50% of the salary and all. I had a family to look after, so a big family in short. So I couldn't accept their offer. Okay, we are going to cut off your salary half and all. So I have to switch to another I go to another law firm.
Okay.
So I
A
got
law firm.
a law firm, which he was looking for a startup about the digital marketing company.
Okay.
There he used to develop website and all everything for the clients. So I go there for as a WordPress developer.
Got it.
So
And how long did you work there?
1 year.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
That also not my call. Their call. Yeah, we are going at the gut of time. Actually, we are getting not much client right now, so we have to dismiss this part of the company, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Now I got a Sam.
But you stayed strong and you were
Yeah.
like, no, I'm gonna continue. And then you met somebody here at Cabo Mobile.
Yeah.
You met Sam. And
Yeah,
then
Sam.
you-
And Sam referred me here.
Okay.
Then I come here and love the environment, and still I'm here.
Awesome. Well, that's great. It's more than 1 year. So
Yeah, more than 1 year.
you've broken that spell.
Yeah,
Of
well,
wherever you go, that company,
Yeah.
doesn't really seem to have the best of luck.
Yeah.
And it's good that you did not make that as your excuse and did not play a victim. So that's great. Wonderful. That's super inspiring. Now, I know that you have a lot of other interests as well. In fact, that's what made this super special. You are actually a Limca Book of Records holder. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, actually, Limca Book of Records is still in process.
Okay.
The record I have achieved is still now is the International Book of Record, which is a world record society, and India Book of Record.
Got it.
That I have achieved. In the title of the longest distance covered on scooty solo. In that I wrote 6,432 kilometers in 11 days.
Wow.
Or that also in a 110cc scooty. I started my journey here from Delhi to whole northeast state of India, and come back to Delhi in just 11 days.
Wow. That's amazing. So what made you do that and how did you get this idea?
First of all, I bought the scooty on the lockdown to just ease my day-to-day commute. Later, one of my friends told me that why let's go for a ride to Nainital. First, why is on scooty? Yeah, you can go. So we go. We rode to the Nainital and nothing happened to my scooty.
And where were you? Where did you have to go to Nainital from?
Delhi.
Okay.
All the rides start from Delhi.
Got it.
So I got that easily, and nothing happened to me. No headache. Nothing happened to scooty. Also me also no much issues on that. So I can ride on a scooty in long distance. I get cam idea from there. Then later I search on Google whoever has gone so far on a scooty and all. So that time I found a girl which was riding from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in just 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
Being a female, he ride from Kashmir to Kanyakumari top to bottom on a scooty, and he just created a world record on that. So I inspired from that, and later by testing my willpower and the scooty, I've started traveling from Delhi to the nearby station, which is around 250 kilometers and all. Till now, I've ride from Delhi to Shimla, Manali, Mussoorie, Oli, and most of the hilly part of the Himachal and Uttarakhand. I've already rode on my scooty.
Wow.
So then I came to mind that I also would try the Kashmir to Kanyakumari ride to break his record. But later I thought, why I should try to break her record? Why wouldn't try a new record? That's my thought, that why wouldn't I try new record? For that I also tried to check my willpower again. So I planned a ride from Delhi to Jammu, which is 600 kilometers on a scooty. Then I completed a ride on only 13 hours. Just in 13 hours I rode 600 kilometers.
Wow.
So in that after that ride I confirmed myself that I can do this ride. So I choose something different from others are doing. So I choose the Northeast plan, that is my hometown also, to explore the Northeast and to look plan everything, how much kilometer I going to plan. So in calculation there was 6,000 plus I confirmed, and no one ever done this long in scooty so far in 10cc. So I confirm myself that this is a new record to be created. So I choose that part and go on.
Amazing. So what was that process like? How did you get in touch with the...
First of all, I mail all of the three. What their process, what I have to do especially what I have to do.
Wonderful.
So they especially help me. So I follow all the protocols and all. Then I start writing, and for that I contact everything which I can to get a sponsor. At the time there was a financial issue also, but at the time I didn't get any sponsor at the time, so I have to do this. Yeah, I have to go on my own. So I start backpacking everything, use only basic need that I can afford for riding jacket, gloves. At the time, my gloves they prefer you use the premium gloves and all, but I can't afford that time, so I just use a 250 bucks one that I got in the roadside. No, I just purchased that one and just go on with that all. So I completed the journey. Then later TVS Jupiter found my article and all, so they loved it how we are doing it, and that it was helped by the Abhishek Ranjan, which in our company. Yes. He helped me to contact the TVS company, and TVS company loved the story and all. So and they reimbursed my journey expenses, and we will be sponsoring your trip, and I will be covering your story and all. Then they put up my story on their official pages of the social medias and all.
How amazing! Yeah. How did that make you feel?
I'm very excited. After that, then I thought that I can do anything in later years, coming years. So I will be planning more for the coming years.
What was going through your head, like when you were planning that trip? What were you thinking when you were planning that such a long 6,400 kilometers of journey?
Frankly speaking, nothing was on my mind. My aim was that I had to complete this. I had to achieve this. I had to do this. So that's the thing. But when I started riding an expressway from Delhi to Agra expressway, Lucknow expressway, I thought that there's a hot day, or sunny day. That time the tire was literally that burning and that's much hot. So at the time, my body was exhausted. So I thought then I have to take the U-turn. Or no, I have not to take the U-turn. I have to go. I have to complete the dark mission and all. I have to achieve something in my life. That's the thing I just came into my mind. Otherwise, nothing.
This seems to be a common theme in a lot of successful developers. That you just focus on the end goal. Of course, there's going to be a lot of hurdles, but you just continued on and you wanted to just finish it. What do you achieve from doing something like that? Like, what do you actually get?
The first thing I was excited moment that it was the world record that I achieved. That it was a lifetime achievement for me. That I have a world record holder. That's a mess.
It's a story to tell for the rest of your life.
And the day I just unboxed the certificate and medals and all, that was an amazing day for me.
Was there a message or was there a point that you were trying to prove?
The theme of the ride was to go northeast, explore the unexplored. The theme was that.
Nice.
Yeah, and most of the people think that northeast states are unsafe to travel, but that is not true at all.
Got it.
From my experience, this is the first time I explored all the northeast state India. In earlier, I only used to go to the Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. Yeah, I was about to reach Sikkim. I used to stop at around 8 p.m. and it's at a shop and thinking about myself that I used to go to the Sikkim or not. That at the time the Sikkim I will be reaching at around 12 or 1 a.m. of the next morning. So I asked themselves, I should go further of the route or not? It's a hilly area, it's a jungle area. Should I go or not? Why were you afraid for? Why are you afraid? That may be something, everything could be anything. Go on, no one will go to harm you, and nothing will be there to trouble you. Anything, go on. As I get more courage to go on, so I go on. And nothing happened to me, and nothing happened. I was driving in the middle of night, in the middle of jungle, at around 10 p.m., 11 a.m., 12. I reached the Sikkim at around 12 a.m. the next morning.
Last question that I have for you is, what message would you like to send to anybody in the audience who is wanting to be a developer like you?
In one line, if there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do something in your life, then there will be a way. The path will be available to you if you have the will to do that thing. In my part, frankly speaking, I have that much money to go forward my further study and all, but I was to intend to do something and all. The donor, the Ministry of the Northeast region gave me the chance to further my study and all. Then I got the chance to come to become now as a developer now. In that my passion way also, I was wanted to write to something, achieve something. That every time the sponsor wasn't there, but I want to do something. I go on and start backpacking and just live up. Now I become a world record holder. So in short, if there's a will, there's a way. So just stick to your plan, just stick to your aim, and one day you will be a success.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. And that last message really brings it home for me as well. And this is what we also have a culture of. You know, you can find, I like to say, 9 million reasons for not doing something, but we just need that one reason, that one will, that okay, no matter what, we're gonna go forward. And of course, you eventually succeed. Try again. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for giving this inspirational talk for our viewers who aspire to be someone like you. So thank you again, and thank you everyone for watching. Until next time,
Thank you.
goodbye.
Bye bye.